Hi everyone, my name is Julie. Thank you so much for watching. I am trying something different today. We are actually going to do a review. Like what? I rarely do reviews on my channel, but I saw this new release from iHeart Makeup, and I saw it on Jen Loves Reviews channel. She did, I think, a Makeup Minute on it, or it was in her Makeup News show, What's Up in Makeup, and I just was like, oh, that looks really, really interesting. That's something I want because everyone's coming up with these monochromatic palettes in the makeup community, and these monochromatic palettes aren't really what I look for generally, but I saw these and I was like, you know what? Those are cheap enough for me to try, and I don't feel like I'm gonna be stuck with like shades I'm not gonna use. So I went crazy and I bought 3 palettes. Today we are talking about the iHeart Revolution Makeup Donut Palettes. That's right, donut palettes. Aren't they just the cutest thing you've ever seen? I love donuts. And I will say this, I didn't actually buy all 3 palettes. My sister bought me 2 of them, and then I bought one myself. She got me the raspberry and the maple glazed, and I bought myself the strawberry sparkle. So let's go in a little bit further to what this is all about. Let's start with outside packaging, shall we? So this is what it looks like when you first get it. I think this is really cute, by the way. I think this looks like a little donut box. Like if you buy just a single donut in fancy donut shops, they give you something like this. And it is sealed. I bought mine at Ulta Beauty. They were $7 there. I think you can get them wherever iHeart Makeup is sold though. So it looks like this, and the packaging is really cute. So you get the squishy top. It's like a foam topper shaped like a donut. Each donut is slightly different, of course, and they're color-coded, which is really nice. Because they're monochromatic palettes, it's really nice to have the top be the color that's inside. If you look on the back of this packaging, the donut-shaped packaging, there are a few things to note about these palettes, which is really, really important. First of all, they are made in the People's Republic of China. Also, they do have, in this little corner, they do have the PETA, but I don't know, because we all know PETA, right? You can kind of pay to be on their cruelty-free list. But I don't know if iHeart Makeup is sold in China. I just don't know. So in the United States, they're not going to test on animals, but I don't know about that. There's a 12-month use period. And the most important thing, also if you look at the back of this, look right there. Do you see it? It says that there's a pressed pigment in these shadows. And every single one that I bought has a shade that is not eye safe. So that is definitely something to note. It actually shows, like, don't put it on the eye, put it on the cheeks. So this is really, really important to note. And those are the 5 shades in this palette. It does come with a mirror at the bottom, which is really nice because one thing I like is that you can actually hold the mirror up. I like this type of packaging. I like where the mirror can be up or the mirror can be completely flat back. It's super easy to work with however you prefer to do it. It's also really easy to hold because this is about the size of your average compact. So the 2 that they're calling pressed pigments in the strawberry sprinkles are the 2 glitter shades over here. They're saying that these are not eye safe. So these 2 right here. They're saying these are not eye safe and not made for the eye. Let's swatch strawberry sprinkles. Okay, those are the 5 shades of strawberry sprinkles right here. So let's go through it. This is the lightest one in the very center packaging. This is your one lightest matte shade. Then you have 2 shimmer shades here. You've got the darker cranberry and the brighter strawberry, and then that is your last matte. That's to deepen out the outer corner. There's clearly a weaker shade in this palette, right? Clearly a weaker shade in here. But it does show up on the eye a little bit, but this is my skin tone, and it doesn't have very much pigmentation, so I'll tell you this. There are 4 really good shades in this palette. I'll also tell you this, they come off more pink. So be careful when you buy this one, as well as the next one I'm about to show you, because they're pretty similar. It's just raspberry versus pink. We'll see that. All right, let me swatch the other one so we can see exactly what we're talking about. So this is the raspberry icing one. So last one was strawberry sprinkles. Now we have raspberry icing. Again, same great packaging. You've got the squishy top, you've got the compact on the inside, mirror on it, 5 shades. And this one, again, you got the 2 mattes. So your 2 mattes here are actually these 2. You don't have a darker matte, which is an issue with this palette. You cannot create a full look out of this palette because you don't have a dark enough matte, in my particular opinion, to do an outer crease. But let's watch this one so we can see. Okay, and there is Raspberry Icing. As you can see between the two, Raspberry Icing is a whole lot pinker and much more cool toned. So we're going to start up here. That is that middle shade, that is like the highlight. What's really interesting, I don't know if you can see it, it has a dual chrome ability to it. You can clearly see where it goes champagne, but it does have that silver reflect in it. Then you have this shade right here, which again, you can't really see. These light matte shades are just really hard to show up. I have had a really hard time working with them. Oh, by the way, this is not a first impression. I've worked with all these palettes for the last 2 weeks. So this one is just, it shows up on the lid again like that other one does. It's okay, it's not great. It would be what I'd lay down first, but it's just not amazing that way. Then you've got your shimmery pink here. It's supposed to be matte, but it does come off a little satin. Then you've got really the powerhouse of this palette. Between the two palettes, I would say the raspberry is a little less pigmented in general. Just with swatching and putting in your eye, it's just not as impactful as that strawberry one is, but you can still create some really good looks. So that is the deepest shade and also the shimmer shade. And then you've got this one down here, which again is just a smidge of a satin. A lot of people will call that matte, but it does have a sun reflect in it, and that is supposed to be the deepest shade on the palette. But as you can see, right, like, how deep is it really? So those are the swatches there. Oh my god, I put fingerprints on my hand. That's funny. For the Raspberry Icing Compact, the pressed pigment, so the one that Makeup Revolution is saying is not eye safe and supposed to go on your cheeks, is this one right here. That one that's super, super pigmented, the one you want to put on your eye, right there. That is the one, this glitter one right here, is the one that they're saying is not eye safe. Or let's swatch this palette. This is the Maple Glaze palette. Once again, same packaging. Look how cute that is. It's got the drizzle on it. It's got 3D bumps on it to create sprinkles. Great mirror once again. And let's swatch this guy. This is my favorite center highlight because it's that light gold. And look at that pigmentation on that one. Isn't that fabulous? Now let's go to the matte shade, the light matte shade. Same as every single other palette we've swatched today. Then we have the copper shade here. Really beautiful. This gold is your antique gold. Look at that. That's the one I put on my eyes before and I loved it. And then the dark matte. So there are those 5 in this palette. In the Maple Glaze shade, the one they're saying is not eye safe is this darkest glitter right here, not the gold. The gold seems to be fine. It's the dark copper tone one that you cannot put on your eye. So keep that in mind when you're buying these palettes. I was surprised to learn that when I looked on the back of the packaging. And I actually think this palette is probably the most wearable for the average consumer, not only because it's not pink and purple, but because this dark matte shade is actually dark enough to put in the outer corner and create a nice look to the outer lid. And you can still use this one. This one, once again, I don't know why their pigmentation is so off on these like really light mattes, but you can get 2 different looks here. You can really copper out, and I think it has the best highlights, so just something to keep in mind as we go through. Maple Glaze for the win. I want to put these on my eyelids so you can see how these perform. I think generally they perform pretty well. You do have to use a primer on your lids to make them last all long, but I've not had a problem with long wear. With the primer, I've not had a problem with pigment changing. There's a little fading throughout the day, but again, these are $7 shadow palettes. I actually just looked to see if they're eyeshadow palettes, and they are not. They're called shadow palettes because of that issue with putting the pressed pigment on your eye. Okay, we're cool. Okay, so there's $7 shadow palettes. So there is something to be said about that, but let's go through. We're gonna speed up And we're gonna put this on our eyes. And I'm gonna be using for my base today anything, Bueller, the Lorac eyeshadow primer, which all the writing has rubbed off. I've been trying to use this for the past 6 months. And this is just a little sample size that came with a little palette, but let's do it. And this is the look without any liner or lashes, but I wanted to show you what it looks like before I put anything else on because I feel like that can really change the look. It's just simple and easy, and I thought the pigmentation is good. It's enough to get a lot of color, but it's not like zinging your eyes. Yes, I do know that I used a non-safe pressed pigment, but I'm living dangerously today, and I tried to keep it up and away from my eye. It's in the very center of my lids, but I've got like a little rainbow effect going on today, and I kind of like it. I've got light pink highlighter in the center, then I've got a little gold, and then I've got the pink, and then I've got the red on the outside, which is more like a raspberry, but I think it turned out really well. So let me grab some eyeliner and mascara, and I'll show you the final look and I'll give you my final thoughts. I am back. So just so you know, I put on the Julep Kajol Eye Glider in the shade brown. This is something that I'm trying to use up in a project pan. And then out of my advent calendar, I also pulled this Essence Super Curl Volume Mascara in Eye Opening. You can see it just kind of adds like a nice finish to the look, but let's do the narcissistic montage of showing you what the eye look looks up close. There it is. Let me give you some final thoughts on this. Overall, I do actually like these palettes. There's also a blue one if you're into that. There's just some other shades if you're into those, but these were the three that really interest me. And I wish that I had known that some of these were pressed pigments and not eye safe. It's always going to be in the back of my mind that I spent $7 on something that I can't put on my eyes and I want it to be an eyeshadow. But overall, I think the packaging is really cute. This is something I will definitely travel with, most particularly the Maple Glaze, because this one I can get a full look out of when I travel, because this is small, it's compact, it's smaller than a real-size donut, and it has all the shades that I really need to create a polished, clean look. I can also do like one shadow looks with it. I just don't know what I'm going to do with that one I'm not supposed to put on my eyes, although, as you saw in today's example, I still kind of put them on my eyes. And I live dangerously, and I just hope it doesn't cause eye irritation. It hasn't yet. Out of the 8 times I've worn these palettes, I have put those shades on my lids 50% of the time. So 4 days, and I haven't had eye irritation yet, but I do hope that that continues. I really like these palettes. I think they're oddly enough worth it. And I will say this, when it comes to I Heart Revolution makeup, I know that they're known for copying people, and I don't exactly know what these are supposed to be a copy of, but I think that these are a nice, cheaper alternative to expensive palettes, especially the monochromatic palette. I can play with reds, I can play with raspberries, or I should say I can play with raspberries and I can play with bright pinks, and I don't feel like I'm wasting my money because I don't know how much I'm going to be using these palettes. Like, generally over the next year I can see myself using them probably like 8 or 9 more times, and I'm glad that I didn't spend like $15, $16, $17 on these tiny palettes. And some of the highlights are really good. Like, I'm continually pulling for the middle shade that's in here, this nice dual chrome. I really, really like that one. I don't know, have you tried I Heart Revolution makeup eyeshadow palettes or just shadow palettes? Do a lot of them have the red pressed pigments in them? I'd be really interested to know if that's like something that goes throughout the entire line, or if it's just in these particular ones. Are all of their eyeshadow palettes not called eyeshadow palettes? Are they called shadow palettes? Are they called just palettes? Like, what do you guys know more about that? Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. I hope that this really cute packaging was pulling you in too. It's just such cute packaging. Oh my god, gotta love the donuts. Ah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Since I don't do reviews very often, please give me feedback. What are things you liked? What are things you didn't like? What are things you wish I had added? I will see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.